Japanese government used a one word that shows Japan's stance on North Korea, and that's maximum pressure. And it's been used by Washington as well, but Trump, suddenly in an about face, decided not to use that word. But Japan stuck to using that word for a long time, and analysts say that's one of the reasons why Japan is sort of being sidelined on talks surrounding the Korean peninsula. Keep in mind that everybody is meeting Kim except for the Japanese Prime Minister, because Japan is the only member of the six-party talks not having a face-to-face meeting with Kim Jong-un. So Tokyo is clearly worried of being sidelined of all the active symmetry in Northeast Asia. And normally you expect Japan to have a seat at the top table, but Abe has been sidelined, and a lot of analysts I spoke to blame him for his inflexible diplomacy by focusing on this abduction issue when the entire world focuses on denuclearization of Pyongyang.
And again, remind us why Japan feels this vulnerability toward North Korea and why they view Pyongyang as such a big threat.
Sure. Well, when it comes to Pyongyang, Japan's greatest concern is that Trump will cut a nuclear disarmament deal with Kim that protects the U.S. but excludes short-range missiles that could hit Japan. Also, Japan is also worried if this discussion will lead to a complete denuclearization of Pyongyang, and that's because that might force Washington eventually pull its military out from South Korea, and this will leave Japan as a front-line state against the Korean peninsula at a time when Chinese influence is quite heavy. So certainly it's a legacy moment for Trump and the Kim regime, but it's also a worrisome event for Japanese when it comes to protecting its country.
And does Japan see a role for itself in helping North Korea possibly denuclearize and even in some kind of economic reconstruction if it comes to that?
Well, actually, yesterday, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe promised that he is ready to extend economic assistance to North Korea, but on one condition. That's only if Kim resolves Japan's most concerned issue, the abduction issue, along with the missile issue. The abduction issue has been Japan's top diplomatic issue for decades, and it's also a keystone for Abe's political career. So he flew to the White House to make a last-minute plea to Trump last week to make sure that Trump and Kim will talk about it, and because it may be the last chance for Japan to bring back the Japanese abductees. Now, the Japanese government said Pyongyang kidnapped 17 Japanese in the 1970s and 80s, and that's an official number, while hundreds more were suspected to have been kidnapped to train them as spies. Now, 5 returned in 2002 after Kim Jong-il admitted it, but Japan is demanding the return of the 12 remaining people. So Japan is watching cautiously for the summit for any signs of talks regarding this abduction issue, and unless they solve this issue, Japan won't help North Korea economically.